channel. Thanks for tuning in yet again. So hopefully you subscribed and hit the bell icon. I bring videos to you every week, and I've been pretty consistent recently, so you got to give me credit there. Basically, I break down complex coding issues and coding languages, mostly React, JavaScript, and Node, things like that. Um, and I explain them hopefully in a simple way that you can understand and break them down into bite-sized chunks so that it's easier to understand rather than taking on everything about the language all at once. So if that sounds good, please subscribe. If you have any follow-up questions, please leave them in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful in any way, even if you've heard of or worked with components in React before, by all means, leave a like. I would appreciate it. So, as I said, today we're going to be doing components in React. Now, maybe they seem confusing. I know they did to me at first, but actually they're really helpful to break things down into components as well as use them. Um, so today we're going to be talking about functional components. There are also class components, but today we're going to be dealing with functional components because I feel like that's the most common and it's what's most commonly used today. Um, excuse me. So as you can see here we have, I'm on the React docs, documents, reactjs.org. Go to the docs. Here's a functional component, and here's a class-based component. A lot of similarities. A lot of it is just syntax, but uh, things like a functional component, you don't need to worry about the this keyword. You don't need any of that. Um, and it's a lot easier to create state, which we're going to go over a little bit later on. So if you want ease, I would suggest going with functional components, but it's also important to learn class-based components as well. We will be covering functional-based components in this tutorial. If you guys would like me to cover class-based components, please let me know in the comments below, but I feel like functional components are what's hip today, so I am assuming you guys would want to know about that. So basically what a component is, it's basically a reusable function, um, mostly used to display things uh, or to reusable components, meaning if you have an HTML form or you have let's see, a heading, a title that you want to use over and over again, that's what you can use it for. So let's get into it. Here I used Yarn Create React App to create this boilerplate for React, and I went ahead and got rid of all the unnecessary files. I cleaned up the index.js, deleted everything in the app.js, app.css. We're not really going to use any CSS. I did, however, add in the Bootstrap CDN just so it can have uh, just so the app can have a little bit of flavor, so it doesn't look too horrible. Uh, okay, so it's all running. It's running right here. This is it, localhost 3000. It's running. I hit npm start, yada yada. Not that big a deal. So I just put this here. Let's delete this. Actually, you know what? Let me cut that out. Now, typically what we do is we go in, this is your source folder, excuse me, where your main app.js file is. I'm going to go to the source folder and create a new folder called, you guessed it, components. Okay. I'm going to go into that folder and create a new file. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this, you know what, I'll call this header.js because this is kind of what that is. So a couple of extensions that I have installed that are extremely helpful. This one, ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native Snippets, which I'll show you what it does in a second. This prettier code formatter basically formats my code whenever I save automatically without me having to do anything. It's a really good time saver. This snippets extension for React, by the way, you just come to this little thing in your VS Code and you search for it here, and then you install it. But those are two really nice things to have. There's more, but those are nice to have. So the snippets extension allows me to do this RAF, and then I type, and then I go to the RAFCE, and it gives me a boilerplate for a React functional component. Okay, so, but let's pause that for a second. Actually, you know what? No, let's use this header thing. So, you know what? No, I take that back. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Let's create something. Let's create another function. Function header. Actually, it should be lowercase. Header. This is a arrow function. Whoops. Equals. Yeah. Oh, what am I doing? I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. This should be const header equals our arguments if we have any, which we don't in this case, and here. Okay, that's a functional component. I know it doesn't look like it. Actually, it should be capital. However, once we do this, it really starts to look like a functional component. Okay, and I'm going to do an h4, and you see I can type in h4 dot. I'll say. What is this? I don't know. Dot margin dash 4. That's the snippets extension also allows you to do that. It's kind of nice. So we're going to say React project header, and that's it, guys. That's our functional component. Then we're going to come up here to our main app function, or our main app component, and we are going to do header. Header just like that, which is basically looks like an HTML element, but it's JSX, and React project header. And there we go. Now, of course, you can add styling to this. You can give it a class name. Class camel case. We'll say header, and you can come into your app.css and say dot header. Color. We'll say I don't know, blue violet, just so you can see that it changed. Okay. Oops. Oh, I got two class names in there. I forgot I added the this for Bootstrap, but whatever. Header. Just give it two class names. All right. And as you can see, it changes color, so that's how you add styling to it. So this is how we put a functional component. You can put it in here, but if you have 10 or 20 or even 30 functional components, different parts of your app, you can imagine how it would get really crowded in this main app.js file. Plus, you really don't want to do that. It's not the best idea. So I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to close this app.css. I'm going to come here. I'm going to import header from /components, go into that file /header. Okay. And in here, I'm going to do the same thing. What was it? H4 React header, just so it's a little different. I'll give this a class name. Class name equals header, so you can see. Remember, we changed it to React header. And there we go. So the best practice, I would say, is to put it in a separate file and then bring it into here, bring it into your, and then import it into your app.js file. And then you can have another component that you bring into the header file and so on and so on. That's called, that's called parent and child relation. So right now, app.js is the parent and header is the child. Now, there's something called state, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. I have other videos about state and props in React, so I'm just going to briefly go over those, but feel free to please check those out on my channel. I did them a little while ago, but they are there. I do have a React.js playlist that they are included on. All right, so you know what? Let's close this header out. Let's create another functional component. New file. Let's call this form. Let's say call this login form. We'll create a login form.js. Okay, I'm going to type in RAF and select RAFCE for a functional component. I'm going to change this to capital, otherwise you get an error. All right, so now I did this in one of my other tutorials, which is also in the React.js playlist, where we create a form. Let's say, oops, why is that down there? Excuse me. Where we do form. We don't need an action. We do, I guess we could do, yeah, we don't need an on submit for this. We don't need that. Let's see, we could do label for email. You get the point. Input colon email, and that fills it out. That's kind of nice, huh? In this regards, we don't need any of this. We just need a value. Right now, it'll just be nothing for now. And let's do label for password, input, password. You know what? I'm going to leave that. Normally you would put it as a password, but for now, for you guys, for demonstrational purposes, I'm going to leave it as just plain text. Value equals here. Okay. All right. Now, so we have our form. Oh, we need a button, of course. Button, class name equals btn dash primary. There we go. And what the heck, btn dash block, which is all bootstrap stuff. Submit. Okay, so let's save that. Now, don't forget, so we have our component. This is the name of it, right? So we're exporting this, okay? If you wanted to export multiple ones, you would simply delete this, and then you would put, oops, you would put what the hell? Sorry. You would put export right there, okay? And then you could export as many as you want, but you got to bring them in differently. Let's do that actually. Let's do export const. Let's see. Put export here. Export const. I don't know. What can we put? Let's see. We'll say user profile. No. Yeah, whatever. Profile. User. Okay, profile. Sorry, guys. I can't fucking decide. I don't know. You help me. All right. So, oops. What am I doing here? Okay, good. So now we need a return statement, which every functional component needs. And we're going to say, we're going to put a list unordered list item. We're going to say Rod Smith. This is just going to be somebody's name, assuming it comes from when they're logged in. List item rsmith@gmail.com. And we'll do one more. Li. Age is 46. Rod Smith sounds like he's 46. Okay. Good, 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 good. Now, good. Now in app.js, in order to bring those in, since we exported, since there's more than one, okay, we need to um, bring them in a little bit differently. Since there's more than one, if there was just one export default, meaning that was the only functional component in the file, then we would do it like this: import header, because it knows what it's talking about because there's only one. But since there's more than one, multiple, we do this: brackets, login form, and what the heck was the other one called? User profile. User profile from /components/login form. Okay. Let's see. Now we could put this here. Login form. Close it off. And we could bring in our user profile, and there we go. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, you can't have a value. Let's just do nothing for now. We'll change that in a little bit when we go over state in a second. Okay, so here we go. Here's our form. You know, not nice as it is. Actually, I can change that real quick. I can put class name equals, what is this? Form dash group. I think it is. I think that's what it is. Copy, paste. I think that's what it is. For that's Bootstrap, by the way. I don't fucking know. Whatever. I don't feel like looking up the documentation. All right, so this is our form, obviously, and this is this. So that's how you bring in multiple components into your main component, right? So you can put multiple ones in here if they're related or whatever, or excuse me, just like our header, you can have a single one. Now, one of the things you can do with components is pass props down into them. And we're going to do that with our header here. You can do something like this. We're going to say title equals brackets, and we're going to call it title. Okay, now that might look a little strange. I'm sorry. We're going to put React project app. Okay, so this is our prop. It's named title, and this is the value of it. You could put anything in there. You could put true, false, you know, whatever. Here, instead of actually typing it out, we're going to put title. Now, let's go up here. Normally, you would bring in the props by just typing in props, okay? And then down here, you would have to type props.title. All right, I'll show you. And there we get our React project app. Actually, let me change that just so you project app from props. And here, right? So you bring in the props, but something you can do is a little shorter is just put title, delete this, and you can destructure and pull out the title. And just do it like that. That way you can use just title. And I mean, you can, excuse me, you can use that as many times as you want. It's a lot of fun. Right? There you go. React from props. So that's how you pass props down. Right? Now, if, say, for example, let's say, what can we do? Let's see. All right, let's do this. We're going to bring in, whoops, let's keep doing that. We're going to import React from React Okay, good. I'm also going to bring in something, a React hook, which is React use state, so that we can do this. So I'm going to create a const. I'm going to say title, and we don't really need a function to set the title, but I'll just put it in here for good measure. That's a function so that you can set title, like set state. Use state, and we're gonna set it to React project from state. All right. Now in the header, we're gonna pass in the title, and we're gonna set it to whatever. Oops. Title, whatever we want really, but this is the prop, the name of the prop. This is the prop itself of what we're passing in, which is the state, right? If this were my title, it would be here would be my title. Let's actually, I'm going to change that back so I don't have to change all of them, but you get the point. Okay, let's try that. Set title is not assigned a value. Don't worry about that. But there you go. So that's how you pass state to props into another component. Now, okay, so in here, like I said, I'm going to be going through this quick. Use state again. Here we're going to create const. We're going to say form data set form. Oops, form data equals use state. And let's see, we're going to set it to, I forget. Oh, an object, sorry. And we need email and password. Okay. So now we need our, actually we don't need an on submit. We just need a on change event so that whenever there's a change, it can keep track of it. Okay. So we're going to do that. On change, good. And up here we're going to say form change. Whoops, it needs to be a const change. Okay, so I'm just going to put the form change in there. Form change in there. Okay. And so, we got to pass in an event parameter. And we're going to say e.prevent default function, which just prevents the page from resetting or reloading, I mean. And then we're going to do set form data. Okay. And we're going to use form, I forget what to do, but you get the point. So this is using our state. You would change our value to form data dot email, and then form data dot password. Yeah, whoops. There you go. So I mean, components are a lot of fun. All right, so let's delete this login form, and let me show you one more thing. So we have our header here, right? Let's say we wanted to take these out, okay, and we're going to create another file called subheader. Remember RAF. Okay, so we created this subheader file, and let's do something as sort of an experiment. So let's bring in use state one more time, And we're going to create some state. So const here data. I don't think you don't need a function to set the data. So use state, and we'll set this to you know what? Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to set this to a string of subheader info. Okay. So this could be, you know, an object, whatever. Okay. So now we're going to take, we're going to be subheader, close that off. Oops. And we're going to say, we'll say, and we'll paste it in. We'll call this, we'll just call it info. And it will be set to data, which is our state. And then in here, remember we're going to destructure and pull out info. And then we'll say in H5, open up a JSX expression, and then our info. And then, oh, of course, and then we have to bring in, import subheader from /subheader because they're in the same folder. And let's see if we get something. Login. Oh, okay. Which one is that? App.js. Oh, right. We're going to delete those because we don't have those anymore. I deleted them. Good. Set title. Don't worry about that. All right. And there we go. Subheader info. So that's just a way how you pass down. And you could have a subheader that goes into this subheader, goes into this header. And as you can see, that can sometimes get a little confusing and a little complicated, which is why things like Redux exist. But you get the idea. And hopefully that gives you enough to get playing around with it. So that's how each one of these components can have their own state. They can have their own props that are passed to them, things like that. One thing I didn't show you is prop types. Let me see if that's in here. Basically, type checking with prop types. Basically, you import prop types and then greetings.proptypes, which is this is a class component, but a functional component is the same. Basically, you set whatever your props are, you set it to whatever it is, whatever the value is, or whatever it's classified as. It should be as like a string or a boolean or whatever. That way, if it's not, it'll throw you an error. Anyway, listen, guys, that's it. Hopefully, you got something out of this. If you did, let me know in the comments or leave a thumbs up or both. And hit that subscribe button, guys. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.